One evening, three noblemen were travelling a long, dark road. They had spent the day together in idle merriment, enjoying all the boons their youth and wealth afforded them. As they walked through the fading light, they noticed three figures coming down the road towards them. The youths were deep in cheerful conversation, and at first they paid no heed to the approaching travellers. However, as they neared, the song and laughter died in the youths' throats. Eyes wide, they watched in silence the grim procession before them. The three figures were not living men, but walking cadavers. The dusk light glinted off of ghastly white bone, and the hollow black pits where eyes once sat regarded the youths with bleak indifference. With a rattle and clack, the three skeletons passed the noblemen. The faded rags they wore, a grisly reflection of the nobles' finery. At last, one of the spectres turned, and a sonorous voice came from its tongueless mouth. Quod fumus estis, quod sumus vos eretis. As you are, so once were we. As we are, so shall you be. Hello, and welcome. My name's Philip, and what you've just heard is a modern retelling of a medieval legend. The Three Living and Three Dead is a story with no clear origin, appearing in various forms across Europe from about the 13th century onwards. It's a medieval memento mori, a motif which encourages the worldly to remember the inevitability of death. Now, by the 15th century, one particular variation of this theme had become so popular that its cultural impact can still be seen today. The Danse Macabre. Danse Macabre is a French term, and probably derived from the Latin Choria Maccabeorum, literally Dance of the Maccabees. This was a well-known subject for medieval writers, where, in Maccabees 2, a mother and her 7 sons are martyred. The sons are killed one after the other, each delivering a short speech before death. This procession to the grave became a popular subject of illustration, which gradually shifted from its biblical origins. In German, it was known as the Totentanz, the dead dance, and in Spanish, la danza de la muerta, the dance of death. Whatever the name, it was a medieval allegory for the inevitability of mortality, and the fact that all are equal in death. Death itself, represented by a skeletal figure, invites people from all stations of life to join it in dance as it leads them to the grave. The grim juxtaposition of revelry and mortality likely has its origins in the Black Death. The plague swept through Europe and seemed to kill indiscriminately. Those that survived were saddled with a grim awareness of life's fragility and an understandable need for levity. The Danse Macabre provided both. It was likely an actual dance performed at village pageants and court masques, in which one dancer would play death and encourage other characters to join it using pithy remarks. Some historians have even suggested this as the origin of Halloween costumes. Although we don't know exactly what these pageants may have included, we have some clues from artistic depictions of the Danse Macabre. The first reported mural of the dance was on the charnel houses of the Church of the Holy Innocents in Paris, now demolished. Other examples include the walls of Pardon Churchyard at Old St. Paul's Cathedral in London, and the cemetery walls of the Dominican Abbey in Bern. Unfortunately, these two have since been demolished. Thankfully, there are some surviving images and paintings, including the gorgeous mural at Holy Trinity Church in Hrastolje, Slovenia. Perhaps the most famous painting, however, is that at St. Mary's Church in Lübeck, northern Germany. This mural, dated to 1463 and attributed to the artist Bernd Notke, depicts death as he addresses 24 individuals, ranging from pope and emperor to craftsman, peasant, and even child. All were rendered life-sized, and the painting stretched 30 meters end to end. Unfortunately, it was destroyed during the Second World War. However, photographs still survive of the painting. What's more impressive, however, is that the painting was so famous within the medieval period that it was being copied. Replicas appeared in other churches, and the burghers of Lübeck even produced books based upon the painting. These books inspired others, and authors would add and remove dances or write their own speeches. In that way, the dance kept evolving and remained relevant to medieval culture. And the impact of the dance can still be felt today. Whilst I've been speaking, you've been listening to part of La Danse Macabre, composed by Camille Saint-Saëns in 1874. Perhaps the most well-known of the many, many musical settings based on the motif. You could argue that the 1929 Silly Symphony's animated short The Skeleton Dance is a modern continuation of the Dance of Death. And what about if you were to create a whole musical about a skeleton? Or about someone accidentally marrying a corpse? Wouldn't that be macabre? Heck, the jazz song that the skeletons perform in Corpse Bride has literally the same moral as those fairs and pageants 600 years ago. Do you wonder if they knew, when they put on those skeleton costumes to dance behind David S. Pumpkins on SNL, they were participating in a tradition that stretches back to the 13th century, if not earlier? Maybe not, but it is food for thought. I'd like to leave you now with some words from the Dance of Death painting in St. Nikolai's Church in Tallinn, Estonia. As the dance begins, Death announces, "I call everyone to this dance. Pope, emperor, and all creatures, poor, rich, great and small. Step forward, because grieving doesn't help you. But consider well at all times that you bring good works with you, and become free of your sins, because you must dance to my pipe." Thanks for watching. Farewell.